How does it feel when you're that young on the eve of a tournament?
Excitement, Laura. I think the one advantage you've got when you're young is you're absolutely fearless. You've not failed in life yet, and everything's been on an upward trajectory. They've been the best players in their youth teams, the best players was on the 10s, 12s, 14s, 16s. It just feels like an easy game at that age. You've obviously got to counter that with some experienced players in your team, but this is the strength in our team. We've got some really good young players that will go out onto that pitch thinking they're one of the best players in the world. And we mustn't blunt that. We mustn't, shy away from that. We must play these players and let them express themselves.
How important do you think Harry Kane will be? I know we've mentioned Foden, we mentioned Grealish, Mount, all these guys, but in terms of goal scoring, I think for England to do well in the tournament, they're going to have to somebody that's going to score goals, and I think Harry Kane could be that man. Is that fair?
Ali, it's more than fair. I mean, he is the standout centre forward for us. If he gets injured, it'd be interesting to see what would happen. We might even go with a false nine or something.
Yeah.
That's how important he is. He's a standout. I mean, in the last World Cup, in the last tournament we played, and I thought Harry played pretty average throughout the tournament. He walked away with the golden boot. One went in off his backside. He scored a few penalties. All of a sudden, he's the golden boot winner. And that just shows you, even a player like Harry Kane that's playing okay, he still scores bundles of goals, and he is going to be absolutely crucial. His experience as well with all the youngsters around him.
Michael, I mean, how difficult a job is it for Gareth in terms of having to select players from like the Fodens, the Grealishes? You've still got Sterling, Rashford. I know their form hasn't been great, but he's got a massive job on his hand.
Yeah, he has. I mean, I think if you ask Gareth Southgate a year ago, what's your team? I think it could be vastly different to what it is now. I would say that over the years, I've always thought England would suit three at the back. Just the players we've had, it's always suited us. But we've got that. Our strength now is going forward and in all these young, exciting players that some of you just mentioned there, Darren. And I just think that if we go four, we can get extra players going forward. If we go three, you've got three players. You've got then a goalkeeper. You've got two wing backs. There's six. And then you've got a sitting midfielder, seven. We can only get four attacking players in. If we go back four and then a sitting midfielder, we can get five. And I think those extra players, that extra one player, whether it be a Grealish, a Foden, whoever it might be, I think that's important.
Yeah. Michael, we were speaking earlier on about the fact that the friendlies that England have been playing in have had so many players missing because the Champions League final, there's like 7 of their stars that aren't there. And we were saying about how difficult it is to really get a team ready for a major when they haven't really been together that much, but you have to rest them as well. How hard is it to find that balance?
Yeah, I think so. And I also think it's also sort of downplayed the chances in with the rest of the nation. I think about 3 or 4 weeks ago, we were all thinking England are going to win it. I think after a couple of friendlies, we're all sort of, are we going to win it? You know, they weren't really impressive. But as you say, Laura, loads of players missing. And I don't think it's worth the risk, to be honest. We've gone into the competitions in the past with so many injuries going into tournaments, so many major injuries to major players, and we've still got a couple of big question marks. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's an inevitability, but we've got the likes of Maguire and Henderson coming back, players that are really important for, the experienced players in our team. But it is difficult. It is the mixture of playing your best team, of avoiding injuries, of burnout, of rest, and all the rest of it. But I think a lot of our players are experienced enough to have a nice little break and come back firing on all cylinders. I'm certainly not bothered about the fact that, some of our big players haven't really played much in these warm-up games.
Well, what how France 98 and you scored that goal and you come back and you were that global superstar. How do you think Foden deals with that if he goes and has a tournament of a lifetime like yourself when you score that goal and everybody else is then on you? How does he deal with that off the pitch?
Charlie, as soon as you said off the pitch there, that changed the dynamic of the question because I don't think he needs to change that. On the pitch, he is in his element. He's at home. He feels relaxed. It's off the pitch where I wouldn't say I struggle, but you think, wow, it hits you. Something,
I'm only saying that because I don't know your character, but I've obviously been in the dressing room with you in that, and you know that type of guy. You're a very humble guy, and for what you achieved, it was your job. Do you know what I mean? That was what. But for him how does he deal with the press and the pressure then? Because it's going to happen, isn't it?
That's it. The press, the pressure, the 10 cars following you around, no matter what you do for the next 6 months, because everyone's interested in what shop you're going to walk into, what hairdressers. That's quite an apt thing to say at the moment with him, isn't it? Where you get everything. They want to know more about your life than we currently know. All we want to know at the moment is how good Phil Foden is, how far he can go in his career. But if you come back a superstar, then they want to know absolutely everything, what you're eating, how you sleep, you do, everything. And that's quite intrusive. That's something he'll have to adapt to. But you mentioned Phil Foden. I mean, we've got so many good kids, but he is the one, isn't he? I mean, I look at him and think he could be anything, like world class. We're talking the Messis and Ronaldos that are going to, finish in the coming years, and we're all looking at the next generation of great players. And I think from the England point of view, he could be an absolute world-class player for years and years to come. I just hope he keeps developing in that way.
I know that there's some new research out, Michael. Booking.com did this, and it's absolutely shocking. Nearly 2/3 of European England football fans would rather see their main rivals, Germany, win the Euros than skip their next holiday. What?
I can normally understand. If I was on the pitch, don't get me wrong, I'd be thinking anything but Germany to win it. But we've all been deprived of a holiday so much that I think I can understand where a lot of the England fans are coming from there. But I mean, put it this way: if I'm on a pitch, then I wouldn't settle for it. But now I'm sat here and I've been on holiday for a year, and I'm starting to think of it myself.
What about holiday, Michael? Michael, what about holiday in Germany?
I'm not sure it'd be welcome.
That's pushing it a bit. That's pushing it a bit, mate. Listen, I just want to ask you a quick one before we're out of time. Are you concerned a little bit defensively? Obviously, Harry Maguire, massive miss. Where you go, Cody, Mings, White's obviously another option. I just think, looking at it from the outside, it would be a little bit of concern for me. Clearly, middle to front is England's strong area. Middle of defence, I'm not so sure, mate.
No, I couldn't agree more. And then you go back one position and goalkeeper as well. It concerns me. Yeah, conceding goals concerns me. John Stones has been unbelievable this season. Our fullbacks are very strong positions, but you have to be concerned about goalkeeper, left-sided centre half, and then again if he plays three at the back to almost cover that situation up, then again you're having to put extra players and take one of the better ones going forward. So I know it's an English sort of thing to say, but I'd like to see us go and attack the games and play with some of our better players. Keep the ball. Do you know what? No one can score a goal if you have most of the possession of the ball. So it might be the best form of defence to go on the attack. But you're right, Ali. It's got to be a concern.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Laura Woods. Monday to Wednesday mornings 6 till 10. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.